and welcome, my beautiful friends, to the channel of Women's Strength Society. I'm Dragana and I will talk you through the topic today, why nutrition is not your problem. And a quick story of mine. I was constantly thinking that the nutrition part was the main problem, why I couldn't create the shape I was looking for, why I couldn't transform my body and look toned, stuff like that. But I was wrong. I was completely wrong, and today I will tell you why the nutrition is not your problem to get better results, and what it is instead, and what 4 things you can do today, like from today on, to work on that and to finally get the results from the training and all the effort you're putting into your body transformation journey. So let's go straight into it. Your nutrition is not the problem if you can tell me right away how much weight you can move on your big lifts. And I remember myself back in the days when I trained 3 to 4 times a week. I really thought I'm doing a lot and I'm putting a lot of effort into my training and into my nutrition, and I wasn't seeing the results I was expecting from it. Always like checking myself in the mirror and being frustrated by the lack of results. And the big mistake I was making was that I wasn't really training with intensity, and I wasn't following a structured training program. I was just doing workouts. I was just training. That's how I call it. But in the end, it wasn't training. It was like practicing, moving my body, burning calories, yes, for sure. And I also had a lot of fun. I was pushing myself. I was in a group training setup, in a group class, athletic training back then. But I wasn't really training with effort and intensity. And this is what you need to change your body. If you're not training with the right intensity, and when you're not putting the effort in the right places, your body will not change, because your body actually don't know why to change in a certain way if you're not giving the right direction. So if you're only doing workouts and you're sweating a lot, as I said, you will burn calories, but this is not what will give you the shape and not what will create the muscles you're looking for to, at the end, maybe create the toned and defined look you're after. So to find out what the right intensity and the right effort is, and to get better results, there are 4 things you can do. So the first one, and the one I started to do as soon as I had a structured training program, was to track every session. And I don't only mean writing down which weight I used. You need to track everything. You want to track how much weight you used, for how many reps, and for how many sets. And especially, I know that some women that are maybe new in the coaching and maybe beginners in training are only writing down the weight, but they can't really see, hey, how many reps have I done in the different sets, so that I can see the next time, okay, on the 3rd and 4th set, I want to push the reps up. So you don't have a good comparison of your last week and then today to really see, hey, to progress, I just need to do 2 more reps, and this is progressive overload. It's not always bringing the weight up, but that's a topic for another video. Check out my video on progressive overload, what it is and why you need it to feel your best. I will link it. So you want to write down, track every session, note every set, rep and weight you moved during the session. If you are even more advanced, you really want to take also some form videos to check your form and see how you're executing the reps, because in the videos you will see if you are training with the right intensity. simply by seeing how fast the weight is moving. So if you're training close to failure, you will see that the weight is moving much slower. The second thing is be intentional with your training. So before going into your training sessions, what I'm doing is I really have a look at my last session. I will have a look at the weight I used, for instance, on my back squat, and then I will write down what I'm aiming to hit on this session today. So before going into my training sessions, I already set these like small goals to push myself also a little bit and to challenge myself. So before going into the next session, be very intentional about what you want to do, what you want to achieve that day. Sure thing, if you don't feel that good and you cannot hit your numbers, don't be upset. Life happens. It's totally fine if you cannot get all the weights that you wrote down in that one session. But having these goals and being intentional before going into the training session will make a big change in how you approach your training, and also how much importance you give your training. The third thing is go from 2 to 3 reps in reserve at the beginning of your training program, like the first week of your training program, to really 0 to 1 rep in reserve at the end of your training program. So over the course of your 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, however long your training program is, you really want to decrease the reps in reserve you have. So if you're starting your training program, you will have more reps in reserve, and the closer we're coming to an end of your training phase, you really want to exhaust your training program, and you want to be closer to failure and even hit failure on some exercises. So if you're at the end of your training program, if you still have 4 reps in reserve, 5 reps in reserve, you know that you haven't trained hard enough. You know that you probably started way too light with the weights, and how you can see that, how training close to failure looks like, is another video, and I will link it for you here. And last but not least, allow yourself to be imperfect, especially towards the end of your training program. In your last set, the last reps will not look pretty. These are not the prettiest reps you will ever do. So if you are grinding a bit on your bench press, if your squat doesn't look perfect, that's totally fine. You don't need to worry. We don't want you to hurt yourself, so we still want to have an execution which allows you to move the weight safely through space, but the last reps will never look the prettiest, and be okay with that. Be okay with grinding a bit and going all in and trying really to squeeze the reps out, especially at the end of your training program when your body is already a bit tired of all the training weeks. So this is what I've learned in the past years. I always thought the nutrition needs to be the issue, and I need to try to cut out the carbs I'm eating. I'm eating maybe too many carbs, or I'm eating too much meat, or I'm eating too late at night, or I'm eating too much sugar, or too many calories, or too little calories, and stuff like that. I was constantly thinking about my nutrition and food and how I can change things up. But in the end, nutrition is one part, but in the end, my training wasn't on point at all. I was far away from training with intensity and effort and following a structured training program. So If this sounds like you, if you're having the same struggles, if you can't see the results, then make sure to check if you're training with the right intensity and with the right effort using these 4 things. And if you want to learn more, make sure to subscribe. And if you like the video, leave a comment or click the like button. See you. Bye bye.